The divine warning by the prophet for the nations. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family, bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names, abuses, and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that delude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and to go back to the state of mind of their forefathers, divine and national principles, that they will be law abiders and receive their divine right as citizens, according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name. I can't see. Okay. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world, and through it and their children can receive their divine rights, unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state governments and not under a granted privilege, and has been the existing condition for many generations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and amongst your officials and government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply, for they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into light. Money does not make the man. It is the free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belongs to the citizens alone. And then without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I am hereby calling all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work because I need all the support to get them back to the constitutional fold again. Oh, wait. Because I need all the support for all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government. I'm depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate, and will live according to love, truth, peace, and freedom and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. Says, I love my people, and I desire their unity, mind back to their own national divine standard. Day by day, they have been violating the national constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greek, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim these free national names and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than the right of the law that should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all the governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principle. Because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name because they place their trust upon issues and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger, the same as the word color deludes to anything that is painted, varnished, or dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honor thy fathers and their mothers. Your days on will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizen of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14 and 15 amendments brought the North and South into a unit, placing the Southerners, who were at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, the free national constitutional law that was enforced in 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free, equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of our American people and citizens. So there isn't but one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost. And it's through that above statement. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hill, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States would be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come. Because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that have been performed in North America by my people. And this great sin that must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, disease, etc. And I, the prophet, do hereby believe that administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by a more genius citizen, that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers, and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man. They have never done them any good, but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me remove this great sin which has been committed and is practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not true and divine way, and without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into other darkness of sin. There is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them so socially, religiously, politically, or economically in their present condition of. You scroll down, please.
Their endeavorment
Yeah.
in their present condition of their endeavorment.
Oh, in their present condition of their endeavorment, in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world. They will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought them Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. And they have fought the Southerners for all these great misuses. But I've traveled in the South, and I examined the conditions there. And it is the works of my people continually practicing the great things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. I'm hereby calling all the true American citizens for moral support and the and but I have traveled in the South and I examined conditions there, and it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. I am hereby calling on all true American citizens for my moral support and finance to help me in this great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into marvelous light. From the prophet.
Islam. That was your first time reading that, huh?
Yeah.
How you feel about that, man, as you was reading that? Any thoughts going through your
Uh.
mind as you was reading it, Green Star?
Mm, I feel like well, he was his thoughts, is his words. So as I speak them, it's like I'm speaking his thoughts. So I feel like I have a better understanding because I read it out loud. I could see my own,
Any highlights as you was reading it?
parts.
Just anything that stood out to you while you was reading it?
Um, Basically, the 1865 Free National Constitutional Law. I would say that part stood out to me the most because placing the North and South in one unit, and there's already a constitutional body that's, they just brought them along, and because we were ignorant in the ways of like what we had and who we were, we got abused. And then I could see in my own life, times where I didn't know nothing. Um, so that's when you get misused when you don't know. But if you want to operate out of like love, truth, and peace, you have to know, and you have to issue your name, you have to have your authority.
Okay. Okay. Any other thoughts on the divine warning for
Well, I got a question if I can.
okay.
Maybe you can answer this one. When it says that they're all forced to proclaim their free national names, that says Greek and Englishman. It says it in there. So what is their free national name? Because it even says the Chinese, Turbans, Arabians. So we already know those are Els, Bays, Days, and Alis. But what is the Greeks and the Englishmen?
Well, I know a couple of surnames would be like Douglas, um, Scott, stuff like that. These was like I know more titles of nobility. That'd be an example. But I know the L and the Bay and the Day and the Owl. That's
Yeah,
more
those
of
are
the
from Moors.
imperial, yeah. But no, but these still Moors though, even though they was English, even though they
Right.
was
Okay.
that was what I mean? Like their names would be like
Right.
Maurice, for example, like Maurice is a Moorish name, but it's a German or English title of the nobility Moor. Like Saint Maurice was a Moor, but he wasn't a Muslim. He did not, what I mean? For his
Right.
creed, he was Christian. He was a Christian Moor, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so I guess
So,
yeah.
okay. So if a Chinese or Manchurian comes down here, right, he would have to put on either the Day, Bay, L, whatever he wants, right, or not.
Well, I was gonna. Can I add on to it? If you don't, if you
Yeah,
don't
go
mind.
ahead.
Yeah, yeah. What I took from it was that the prophet was using those national names as a reference to Moors to claim their national name. It wasn't more. It wasn't any connection to the Moorish. I want to say the Moorish nationality per se. It was more or less he was giving, like, he was just basically giving certain nationalities like in reference to why Moors should claim theirs. For example, Japanese, Chinese, English, Turks, if they're using their free national name under one constitution. In other words, Moors, you need to be using your Moorish identification under the same constitution. That's what
Right.
I
But
took from it. But I didn't
right.
take it as far as the name was concerned.
But see,
Right. Well,
Ilian coming from, remember Ilian, he's talking to people like we're talking on another level to people that don't know about nationality at all. They don't
You're
know
talking
that
about me.
they don't know about the
right.
like how
So
you're talking about it.
Okay, so no. Okay, here's what I'm trying to do. Noble Drew, we're speaking of Noble Drawley, right? And we're giving the
Yeah.
titles for ours to someone who's new at this. So we already know the El Bay days; those are belongs, quote unquote, to the Moors, not quote unquote, but it's just to us Moors. So now you're saying that the Greeks and so forth. So what it would be their free national name, not a surname, free national name.
Yeah, well, Greek would be well. That's a. Let me see. The Greeks they were the Carthaginians, right? So
yes, the Moors were everywhere on the earth, right? Then
right.
when they took it over, I'm asking you. So those Greeks and Englishmen, they would have to apply the Els, Bays, Days, and Alis, right? But not the Alis. We give those titles out to people. But are we saying that? Is Noble Drew Ali saying that to everybody because it's a national and world movement? It's worldwide.
Yeah.
So, and basically, at the end of the day, everybody has to be one of the 5 titles.
Yeah.
Well, as we already know that everyone is a descendant from us, pretty much, right?
Okay.
Everyone pretty much is from our tree, right? So the Turks per se, they had different. Let's say, let me think of term. The Turks, they had people of different. I want to say they had 20 Moors. They had 20 Moors. They were more Twani than, let's say, Swarthy. So there are many people who, in reality, as can claim to be a Turk and still fall under the Moorish category. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people in that region. Let's say the for contemporary times, the Middle East, or let's say Europe per se, or or let's say the Tartarian area of southern Russia and the Balkan states, they can actually claim to be a Turk per se and fall under the Moorish paradigm. They can fall under the Moorish identity that way as well.
Okay. So
I think
Italians.
I think it's more. I think it's more about, like you just said earlier, Larry Bay, he's speaking to people that don't know about they on black, Negro, colored, they
That's
on that.
me.
They have no clue about national standards. Because look at the context of the body, right? A divine warning by the prophet for the nations, and think about how the whole composition of the whole body of this composition, right? Right. I've traveled in the South. It's the conditions of my people doing things that are disgraceful, right? Because in the South it was heavy with the Negro activity, right? Heavy,
Oh,
just
cool.
talking with no etiquette, just country. You know, the whole paradigm of the South was terrible at this time. You know what I mean? So he's talking to people like that. We're talking to them. We're talking with higher degrees right now. We all know that everybody that he put on the list is Moors, and we know Greek is not a nationality. We get that, but he's talking to people that don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? It's levels. He was talking in degrees. That's why he always says, like, if I give it to you all, right, you go back to sleep. He's giving it to people that severely sleep, severely, right? So, that's my take on it. And like I said, that's just my take. That's just my opinion. I don't know the man's thoughts like that, but I'm just putting things into context that's logical to me. Um, you know,
I had a question.
go ahead.
Just in the beginning, like kind of on to the context of what you guys are talking about. Just in when he says the citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all under one family. So does that mean like what you guys are saying as far as everyone that you guys are labeling, not labeling but naming, are under the Moorish nationality or essentially?
Well,
Like
they
that's go ahead.
yeah,
Wait,
no,
wait, wait,
basically,
1 second. Let me greet everybody. I didn't even know you was in the chat. I meant to greet you. Peace and love, brother Justin Bay, man.
Peace and
Sorry
love.
about that, man. Who
Peace
else
and
in
love.
here, man? Who else in here? Brother DL, peace and love.
Peace and love, Morris.
Peace and love.
peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
But you got it, brother Justin. I just want to make sure I greeted everybody.
No, that was just like my a question that popped in my mind when I just read the first sentence. Like as far as you guys are naming all of the names and surnames and things is when he said all. I was trying to read it, but
You have a
my
constitution.
screen
Basically,
just
everybody that got a nationality got a constitution because it signifies that they're part of a government structure or a republic,
right
right?
under one nation. What he's saying, all right. So it's many of them under one pretty much umbrella or nation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that list can easily be expanded, but for the sake of the divine warning, he pretty much used those names. And you got to think about the time that he was given this divine warning as well. So, these quote unquote nationalities of today weren't around back then, but he was using them more or less as a reference to kind of like give people the mindset or the concept that your nationality is of utter importance and that Moors, you have a nationality. So he used those. So if I was even in that time, right? Let's see, you go back to 1926, 1913. If I was to tell you a Japanese, you can vividly see in your mind what a Japanese is. If I said someone that was Greek, you can you can conceptualize what a Greek is at that time. If I say Chinese, now he's giving you the identities along with the descriptions of these people of the country that they are related to per se. So it was.
And to add on to
I'm
that,
sorry.
Larry Bay, look right here. National principles. Right here. I don't know if y'all can see my highlighter, but he's talking about he keeps what does he keep reiterating? National principles and standards. National standards. Constitution.
Issues of names.
What that body of politics does together, as far as would I be somewhat right to that?
Yeah. So
all right.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
So, like, since it's we're technically the Moroccan flag, like that's like the thing that we show. My question is, since we have no what's it called? What enforces national standards? I know that's basically the question.
Well, the question, I catch the
National
question should
Constitution.
be your question should be what is national standard, right? That's the question.
Yeah,
What,
maybe
what,
yeah. That's a better question. Yeah, what is national standard?
okay. An example of it is the example I gave every week. Chinatown, Koreatown, little Bangladesh, little Saigon. Why am I using that as an example? Because it's thousands of people working together that know their culture, they have traditions, customs, and they preserve them. It's even to the fact where what was it? They're popping firecrackers for what was that?
Chinese Lunar
Chinese New Year.
Lunar New Year. They was popping more firecrackers than they pop on July 4th. And the police in that area made sure they was able to do it peacefully. They gave them a perimeter to do it, right? Because that's part of their culture. That's an example of national standards. So we're talking about unity. We're talking about children growing up in an environment, knowing their culture. There's no low vibrational activity going on. There's trust. You can leave your door unlocked. Right? It's a village to raise the children.
Right. If you're a family, you don't
national-
need to steal from each other.
Yeah, that's national standards.
Right.
Until we that, so you see, we don't see that's not what's going on, right?
But national standards, if you really think about it, is just being a well-behaved human, a well-behaved being.
Honor, allegiance to your culture.
But I think it would go with the custom of your nation as well. Like you said, the Chinese New Year, that's what they do. So that's part of their customs, you know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or
Right, so-
Lunar New Year.
Exactly. That's why the Moors was there, right? But now we on another lens, we look at that's Moorish culture. We're gonna say the Vietnamese community is practicing Moorish culture. Why? Right? Because we do the same thing. We honor the gates. That's what's on the four openers on our feds represents the four gates. And
So
it represents the lunar calendar, represents the womb, the mother, right? So that's in harmony with Moorish culture. But that's a different degree. But that's the Moorish job to unite. We're here to unite all that. But now, of course, the context of the divine warning is where was he coming from when he's mentioning these things, right? But to answer your question is that's national standards. And with national standards, you create infrastructure because as months and years go all by, there's things getting created. Schools, businesses, like it's unity, it's power in numbers, just the sheer numbers of 1,000 people working together on the same page. And it's for a divine reason. You saying, oh, we got custom, we got high vibrational activity going on, we humanitarians. That's power in that. You know, it's power in it. People doing low vibrational activity. It's just right. But of course, we want to be on high vibrational. But the unity is the key. That's the key. It's power in that. 1,000 people on the same page. Is power in that. National standards. So
what is the name of your nation? What is the name of your nation, Moors?
what is the name of the nation?
This nation?
Al Morocco.
Well, I was going to say, I wanted to add on that.
I didn't hear the question.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what context either.
Because it's only one human culture. That's it. There's not various cultures. There's only one culture. You don't have 20 different cultures or 1,000 different cultures. There's only one culture on the planet of this earth. What is the name of your nation that ties in with your nationality?
Yeah.
I don't know that.
And that's the Moorish Empire. And to add on, that flag is actually a Moorish flag. It's not a Moroccan flag. That flag has been flying for over 10,000 years. Morocco didn't even exist at that time. So actually the kingdom adopted our flag and made it their national flag, their color, everything.
What year did they adopt that flag?
The kingdom of Morocco was established in 1956.
But hold on. See what you did? Hold on. This is a teaching lesson. See what you did, Larry Bay? That's where I was going with it. You just said it's the Moorish flag, not the Moroccan flag, because Morocco got established. And then you went back and said the Moroccan Empire. So this is what I want to explain. Moor is short for Moroccan, period. Marrakesh, Morocco, Mauritania. You're just basically expressing the land of the Moors, the rock of the Moors. It's not because like you say, the Moroccan Empire was before the French Protectorate, which is like the French Montana crew and Pale Arab and people after World War II. That jurisdiction that got created, they're calling it Morocco. They're calling it Egypt. They're calling it Israel. They're calling it Jordan. But these things got created in the 40s. But that doesn't mean that we're not the true Moroccans. If we're going to say the Moors is the ancient everythings, they just jack the names of the ancient stuff. But it's a new jurisdiction. Because the real Berbers are asleep thinking they black, Negro, colored, etc., right? Colonized mind by the British, French, etc., right? But don't say that Moroccan is something new. We're the ancient Moroccans. Moor is short for Moroccan. It's that simple. And that's the confusion that's going to cause confusion in the future, because we're going to talk about, oh, that flag is to us, that flag is Venus. To the new kingdom of Morocco, or the Muslims or whatever, they're gonna say, oh, at best that's the 5 pillars of Islam. To us, that's a matriarch. That's fertility on the earth planet. To the Moors, to the Pale Arab, they're not looking at that. They're not looking at that story like that. So don't get it twisted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then also it places you under that that jurisdiction. So now you're a subject of the king of over in Morocco. When you proclaim that is the Moroccan flag, see, now you playing on a slippery slope, because now you're with the jurisdiction of Morocco, and this is how Moors get jammed up, because we're Moorish, we're Moorish Americans, descended of Morocco, not Moroccans themselves.
Okay, let me write this down.
But look at the slippery slope though, because if you're saying we ancient Moroccans, that means we're Moroccans. So just because some new people came along and called they stuff the Kingdom of Morocco, that's like now we're not allowed to say Moroccan no more just because they jacked us. Think about this. That's all I'm saying.
Moroccan.
That's all I'm saying. It's an empire. The kingdom isn't with the empire. They in the empire over there too.
Okay, the empire.
Yeah, that's part of the empire over there too. It's not just the Americas. We gotta remember.
British Empire.
You know, all that.
And it
wasn't.
That wasn't called Morocco at the time. It was it got to look up the name before it was called Morocco. It was a different land.
That's what I was going to ask. What was it called before
actually that? Yeah, actually it was known as the Sharifian Empire in those days. Before Morocco was established, it was known as the Sharifian Empire.
The Sharifian.
Yes, but that parcel part of the land, it was like Libya and all that right there, but it was called something else. I looked it up, but it wasn't called Morocco before. I wrote it down. I just can't remember, but I know it's not called the Kingdom of Morocco. Kingdoms are smaller anyway.
Well,
so then the race.
I have a question. It sounds like that every, I guess it's a connotation. Every other nation or culture is still, you would say, like a subject of us, the Moor, the original people, the Moors. So is it just that? I guess what is it? I'm not sure how to actually ask it or phrase the statement, but you know what I mean? Yeah.
I'll chime in for you. Okay. When what's his name from Alexander the Great, when he started conquering, that's when Rome started going around the world, starting conquering everything, and it has not stopped. And they were conquering the Moorish nations.
But quick question even to that though, like wouldn't he be a subject of I guess the harems and the Albions and the whole
they all belong to
I don't
us.
Know,
they all I don't want to say belong, just under the Moorish Empire.
Come from us, or I don't know how to say that in the correct way. So, but like how would Japanese the Chinese and Japanese, I don't know that lineage or how that kind of came about, but I guess it's confusing me on how to say it correctly, but I just want to just say it. Like, how does everyone come about, and how does all of these different ideologies of how they became, and you know what I mean? How did all that come about?
Well, pick a nationality. Let's approach it like that.
Yeah, like so let's say the Chinese.
Okay, let's deal with that. All right. So Olmecs. Well, they called our people the Olmecs over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was a nomadic tribe. That means they traveled the planet. They
traveled.
They traveled the sea, right? So this clan of Moors went to Manchuria, and established the Fushang dynasty, the Li dynasty,
Mm.
the discipline of martial arts in that area, right?
Mhm.
Later sub groups or no different nation states that sprung out of that will be Vietnam, Malaysia, Japan, right?
Oh,
Right. And then you start talking about the Kushites, which was in the Mauryan dynasty was really the Kushites and in that area. Then right, you move forward a little bit. Now you got the Abyssinians, or the loosely referred to as the Ethiopians, and then they turn Roman. That's the Coptic Christ. That's the Moors out turned Coptic Christian and later became Roman, right? So I just kind of gave you like a
wow. Yeah, yeah.
A
I'm
nice
seeing
little
it.
runaround all the way there.
yeah. So
That's
you just got to
crazy.
study that. That's why we
Yeah.
do this. Is to you're not gonna learn it all in one night. You know, you might take. You got. That's why I say take it piece by piece. What you want to attack
Yeah.
first. You know
The
what I mean?
word,
Okay.
the word China comes from the originator of Qin. What they did was drop the A and add on the E. They dropped the E and add on the A. Qin was a copper colored person.
She people.
And that's where the ancestors of China come from. Qin. Qin is Japhite, right? From the tribe of Japhite. That's where that comes
Wow.
from.
Right. What
So
you just
when
saying?
you say China, all you doing is dropping the E and putting on an A. It's actually Qin is the father of China, which is the bloodline of Japhite.
Shin in China. Okay.
When they spread us across the globe, when we went across the globe, we went as tribes, and different tribes went to different locations. Japhite went to China, which is called Asia.
And
So
also,
would that be the first place that they went? Why they call Asiatic, or why is it called Asiatics, or
But the whole planet
is
was
that what
Asia.
the
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 whole
was
planet was
Asia.
Asiatic? Okay.
Right. The whole
you have
planet was
Asia Major, Asia Minor.
But before we
Right.
go too far, the Empress just said something profound to elaborate with Dupac Bay to say
Oh,
the Chi people
Mm-hmm.
is like right now, the ancient civilizations over there are called the Chi people right now.
The Chi people.
Chi.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
The-
old Mexican
the Chi.
Chi people.
XI.
Mm-hmm.
CHI.
XI.
Oh, XI.
Yeah, was it during the Fushang dynasty? When was that?
Yeah, this is BC time. Yeah. Yeah, that these, the Shi. Yeah, because the old Mex were called the Shi in Manchuria.
Mm-hmm.
And they were known for bringing jade in the calendar system that was similar to the Mayan calendar. You start seeing the connection. They both was into jade, the attire, the whole. When you start, really getting off into it, you're gonna see like, oh, this is the old Mex over here in Manchuria in BC time. You know what I mean? They brought martial
Always
arts.
remember that the father of China, Qin, was copper colored, just like the original Americans, as in Noah Webster Dictionary 1828 was copper colored. Hiawatha was copper colored. So we have to keep that in mind, no matter what they look like today. It's who they look like before. And they was all copper colored people. So we always got to keep that in mind. So as we research it, we understand who made what moves and why the moves was made and what the peoples may have looked like back then. But you have to also understand they had a copper color pigmentation.
They hide those people.
They don't hide them. They just show you an image and tell you
Right.
this is what they look like.
I have a question.
Right.
And also, I wanted to add on from a contemporary standpoint, China is the corporate state, by the way. The ancient name for China is Manchuria. So if you want to go really,
I just told you who the father of China was. Dated back back to the 1800s. Now they also got other names that they called America and Africa. Started with V's. They didn't start with A's. They started with V. Those was just the concept of a spirit. That's it.
I think he's talking about like China today is basically a corporation. It's not the ancient China. They got the name of something ancient. I think you coming from that perspective, Larry Bay. It's a corp. It's pretty much
Corporate body.
it's a
Yeah.
corporate body today. But
Yeah,
the name,
correct. Yeah, like
the
like
name is ancient though. Yeah.
like for example, Colombia. Colombia is contemporary in today's time is the nation of Colombia, but people don't know that it was named after Columbus. You know, like Brazil, for example, Brazil is the corporate state today, but in the ancient times, no one spoke Portuguese in this part of the of America or that part of America. No one spoke Portuguese. That was transported to that area of the world. And so today, in contemporary times, in corporate times, is known as Brazil. But that's not the ancient. That's not the name of the people anciently there.
The peoples who came down and retook Iberia Peninsula was Germanic tribes. They spoke German. That's what they spoke, was German. They came down,
and those were Moors?
They was Germanic tribes.
And they're albino, right? They have the albinism characteristic.
No, it was Albions. You switched the N and the O. Albions. That's
And
what they are.
Albion. The sons of Moors and harems, correct?
No, look up the word Albion.
Okay.
And you'll know exactly who they are.
We saying the same thing. We saying the same thing. The blonde hair, blue-eyed, pale stock of people that got created.
Albions and albinos are two different people.
Yeah. But the concept and root word and etymology is the same root. You're talking about people that lack melanin, they got melanin in their hair and their eyes. You know, that was a creation that happened in the Americas. We had to ship them to a colder part of the planet and Queen Europa jurisdiction, so they can even just be alive on the Earth plane. You know, because so we're talking about those people. Those are the Germanic tribes that he speaks of. You know, that we had to go in from 711 to 1492 and clean up the plagues, and that's what we'll say. We'll label that as modern European.
Yeah.
Distinguished from, of course, the original European, which is not a nationality. It was a monarch. It was Queen Europa. It's not really European like that, but we're the original that, we're the original noble families of the Scots and the Danes and all that, right? But so I like the wheels on this convo. We went from discussing the context of Noble Joe Ali when he's talking about the Italians, Greeks, the English, Japanese, and Turks. And it turned into a great conversation, and that's what it's about. So, it's and it shows the different degrees,
like the levels,
right? And you gotta talk to the people where we at. In this context, this is Temple. We're just trying to make sure our heads on the swivel when we're talking to the common man and woman about this information.
Yeah.
We're unity. We're trying to unite. At least I am. I'm in the business of
bringing people together.
Yeah, bringing people together. So we got to be competent on history, law, how timelines, how things went down, etc. I wanted to tie the divine warning as far as the elements when he said free. I'm highlighting the free national aspects of what he's saying. Free national constitution, free national laws, free national government. Let's go to the law dictionary now. Let's go in law, because these are civic instructions that Noble Drew Ali is talking about. So he was very specific. Now we're in the law dictionary. This is national government. There's no coincidence why Noble Drew Ali was saying national government, free national name. The emphasis on this term, this is right. There's international ramifications. Let's go back to the law. Let's go back to the law dictionary. All right.
National name.
National government. The government of the whole nation as distinguished from that of a local or territorial division of a nation. So we're talking about imperial level. We're not talking about tribes as a nationality. That's not a national. That's not. We had different cliques, yes, but we all had the same nationality. And also as distinguished from that as a league or a confederation. Because a confederation would just signify a couple of the tribes linking up, forming confederations, but that's still doesn't signify. That's not a nationality, whatever the Confederation is called. The Iroquois or Ananawasi wasn't the nationality. That's just a clan we created. Cherokee is not a nationality. It's a clan we created, right? So let's keep reading. A national government is a government of the people of a single state or nation united as a community by what is termed the social compact. Oh, we come up with a what? A constitution, a bylaws, an agreement of what we gonna do, how we gonna administrate and stick to the script, have allegiance to it, and possessing the complete and perfect supremacy over persons and things, right? Now, when you go down, it talks about a federal government is distinguished from a national government. So we're saying the federal government is the complete opposite. So now let's look up something here. Let's go to Title 23 U.S. Code Section 3002. And we're gonna scroll down to subsection. What are we gonna scroll down to? What section? Section 15, subsection A. What is the United States? A federal corporation. So Noble Drew Ali is saying, no, not the that's opposite. A federal government is different from a national government. So the reason I'm highlighting that is because as you travel in this movement, you're gonna hear people talk about and interpret what Noble Drew Ali was doing. He was saying we're U.S. citizens. Noble Drew Ali saying when he say follow the rules of the said government, he talking about follow the rules what the United States talking about. No, he's saying that's not what he's saying, because that's the federal government, right? And I just read to you, national government is the opposite of federal government. So he's saying, learn your culture, unite amongst yourself, and create government, and be active in that. And you're a citizen of said government, whatever body politic you belong to. Be an active member of that Moorish community.
National standard, huh?
National standards. All right.
So by us being together, we already are basically meeting one of the things he said.
We're headed in the right direction
together and having these degrees of knowledge.
We're in the right direction. We're headed in the right direction.
Yeah, okay.
But it takes activity of the will of the people to make it have wheels and take off.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You have to reach like there's a point in science to talk about critical mass or critical movement. Like when you're trying to break through the atmosphere, I believe it's the same concept where you need enough energy to break through the planetary atmosphere, and then it's home free. We can fly.
Yep. And I just noticed Kenneth L. Bay. I'm not sure how we met, or if we met, or if it's another more, but peace and love. Peace and love. Any comment statements on this space? Anybody wanted to add anything?
Yeah, let me find it real quick here.
Okay. A question while he's looking. What you just read in the law dictionary, like how would you? I guess a question to you, Mafi, or anyone that would like to answer. Just how would you break that down to someone just in an everyday conversation, which you just broke down in that law dictionary about the national government, explaining that definition.
Now you've got a world.
I like what how I explained it to you right now. I would do the same way. I would just take you out of the same. Because what I did was slow walk. I laid a foundation, right?
Yeah.
I highlighted some things. I took you into the law, and showed you that you got the national government is a community of the same people, of the same culture, the same nationality.
Right.
They're on the same page. They organize amongst themselves. And then you have on the other page, you have a federal government. And then I went to the law to give you an example of what some federal governments are. The United States is one of them, because the United States is not a nationality. The United States is not a bloodline of people. So it can never be a national government. It's a corporation.
Federal corporation, yeah.
Artificial.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I gave you two spectrums, two different sides of the scale, a national government and a federal. And then
living blood, fake corporation.
Exactly. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And one has the best interest of the people, because that's why it's important to know the culture. We're going to have allegiance to each other if we know the culture, if we're really striving and getting the lessons and really trying to exercise higher self. Right. We're going to say, That's the most important thing in our life is to unite, be a cohesive unit, create, manifest. I just saw the French Montana and the crew. You like that, Justin? I mean Benjamin Bay. I just seen the chat. And Dupont Bay put some stuff in the chat as far as titles of nobility. A couple of titles of nobility too. Any other thoughts on this space?
I got one for you.
Okay.
Okay. Right there, when the free national constitution, you guys see that? My turn. Hold on a second. Let me put it up. It says, I, the prophet, blah, 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 right. It says, okay, right there. The free national constitution. If you read real quickly, he tells you that your state of mind has to go back to divine and national principles, right? He tells you there once, then he tells you again right there, you're to claim their own free national name and religion. So he told you twice. Then right there, I love my people. And he tells you go right here to claim, they're violating the national constitution of the laws of the government and claiming by names and principles that are unconstitutional. Therefore, he's telling you again to claim it and not claim it, and don't do this because they're violating these principles. And what are the principles? So if you go down to Article 1, we find out what is the 3/5 of all persons, right? Everybody is a mind, body, and soul. So the other two that you need to be a whole, complete person is a name and your divine, your religion. So you need a name and your religion to complete yourself. Then you're not a 3/5 person, you're a whole person now. He's telling you that over and over and over and over and over, right? Because it's divine. God tells you all, God's already stated everything. He made the laws, he did this, he did that, he did everything for us. So we just have to go by our laws. And therefore, on the first one of the Bill of Rights, it's the freedom of religion. That's the first thing they're saying, freedom of religion. Everybody has freedom of religion. So it's not a Christian nation, it's a freedom of religion here, period, for everybody. But we already know that our religion, is Islamism, because we're practicing the law, and it's a science of the study of the universe for ourselves. So once we go back to the divine, right, then that's when we have the national, because everybody's going to be under the same divine, and we're whole again. That's how I see it. That's what he's saying.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Mm.
The reflection.
Mm.
That's what, and during this carnal experience, something that we can touch and see, all the beings and the vessels are operating divinely, and you can see it. You can see the fruit of it. That's why I bring up Chinatown and Koreatown, because you can see it. You can see the unity. You can see the businesses. You can see the wealth. You know what I'm saying? The national standards.
And I bet they're following the Constitution to the T as well.
Divine standard. He also said divine standard. He's saying national standards are divine standards.
Right.
That's enough for me, right there.
What board do you vote? Come on, man. Just work with your brothers and sisters, man, and build something.
Right. That's all he says it over and over and over. Divine national movement. There you go.
So I shouldn't be afraid to really, because he really said just go to the local city hall and just ask them questions in an intelligent tone, and they're gonna let me know basically
if they're honest and they know what they're
agent.
No, I mean they want you, but a lot of them you start taking away their food. Does that make sense?
So if I walk in there like a smiling deer, it's like, what are they gonna do? So how should I approach it when I go in there?
However you want, but don't be an ass towards it.
Of course not, but like,
okay.
Look, I feel like we've gotten so far that they believe in the federal corporation more than they even know about the national government or what's the two different ones? I'm sorry. Yeah, the truth. I'll say yeah.
But what's the objective? That's what's the objective of City Hall?
The objective is basically what did he say? He said to go ask them in a polite tone,
intelligent
about
tone.
Your national you're right. So I'm gonna go ask them.
No, I'm
Okay,
asking you a
look,
question. I'm asking you a question personally. Just I'm asking you basically to see where you think his headspace was at. I'm asking you what will be the intelligent, what will be an example of an intelligent question in your
I would probably think. Let me think.
but when I speak to these commercial mercenaries, right, I always start out with their divine, because they're always claiming that they're a Christian nation. Do they not? Don't their leader, their president, put their hand on the Bible when they're being sworn in? That they always do that. They God loves, blah blah. They're always going to the divine, right? God gave us that. God told us. God. Okay, well, I stick to the divine first. That's what I do. And like I said, I always give them Genesis chapter 10, 6 through 20, because it divided the land, and they're not part of Ham. If you get the picture.
Yeah.
So we already took the way their God right. So what do they have to stand on? Now we're going to go to their laws and chop off their legs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so start with the divine, get in tune with the heart, then don't just slap them around, but give them their own medicine. That's what Noble Drew Ali said. He said, I'm going to use their books against them. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not using it against them. I'm just giving them their own feed. Why aren't you practicing A, B, and C if you're claiming to be this?
Because if I come to it if he said, if I come to it in the right spirit, I should be protected. But I don't want to like he said, what's the intelligent question to ask? Because this is very like he said, when we were talking about the empire and then the race, all these is very slippery concepts that you could get lost in, or you could end up in a worse situation than you were before for not knowing what you're saying or what you're actually asking. So he's right. Asking the right question is pretty much, but that's hard though.
Yeah, that's why I asked you that, because and keep in mind, back to the example, we got invited by the Iranian community a couple months ago, and the mayor pulled up right from San Clemente. The reason I brought up the fact that he wanted to know, because I told you I'll try to get a proclamation in the city for the city of San Clemente, talking about Moorish Americans are aboriginal to the Americas, just like the ones in Chicago and like 8 other municipalities, right? He was like, "Oh, okay. Is it a Moroccan community or is it a Moorish community in San Clemente?" Once I said, "Nothing I know of. We're everywhere." Why does that matter? Back to national standards, because if it's a lot of us in a centralized area and it's a municipality near where it's like 1,000 Moors in one centralized area, we control all the votes. We the constituents. That's why Noble Drew Ali had Oscar the Priest. We had Moors in office. Because why? He had Chicago on lock. It was 10,000 Moors on a daily basis in what they call Chicago today. That's why I keep bringing up Chinatown, Koreatown. It's not, I don't keep bringing this up just to keep bringing it up. If it ain't 1,000 of us, thousands of us on the same page and living close to each other, we're not controlling no politics or nothing. We're not doing nothing. Not doing nothing. We know what the rights we got. We get all that. We get all the international ramification. But if we're not looking like a nation, we're too scattered. So we got to crawl before we walk. Missionary work. Get the pool up. Get the brotherhood. Get some sincere Moors on the same page. If it's 50, 100, whatever, let's get there first. Get some businesses established. Let's get some camaraderie. Let's do some work. Get some measurable, tangible work done incrementally, right? Before we get to that step. Like I say, that's why Noble Drew Ali got oral statements. He got Moors, you need to live together. He's on the record saying this. Moors, you need to live close to each other. Why? Because he got Oscar the Priest to be a mayor. Because there were so many Moors in that municipality, around that municipality, that they control all the votes in Chicago. It's all Moors over there. So the mayor of Chicago, what's the mayor of Chicago gonna do? Listen.
I think one thing. Okay, I have two things. One thing I think is really good is that from a strategic standpoint, we have the element of surprise because they're not really thinking about like an organization of people who are intelligent and moving effectively and strategically. They're not really thinking that it's going to reach a critical mass. Period. So I think that's good. And then that first step, because I do want to go check it out for myself and see the city hall. What do you think should be the focus of my questioning for them so that I can have an experiential, tangible experience to go with all the knowledge that I've accumulated now?
Right now, at our fractional state, Moors use them for record keeping, putting things on the public record. Once we start acquiring land, putting things in trust, we'll utilize the city hall because that's where the county clerk's office is at. That's where the recorder of deeds is at. That's where the comptroller, the people that control the water, being connected to any stuff we get built and stuff like that. So, we would, use it in that capacity. Like I say, once it gets to a nice amount of Moors in a certain area, then we talk about we need proclamations to get established and stuff like that, in them areas and stuff like that, and building a rapport, letting them know like, look, we have a body of Moors out here, we got treaties, this area right here. Yeah, we start interfacing with them, letting them know, putting them on notice that we exist. It's like 50 Moors in this area. In this area right now, we're operational every day. We got businesses, it's the law. Show them all the law that pertains to us being indigenous, all the proclamations from different mayors that lay a full faith and credit foundation, the whole nine.
Full nice foundation. That's that.
We competent on law. That's not the point. We can interface, but it's like they're gonna be like, where your nation at? That's the whole problem. We got to get the people. We got a bunch of more that's competent in law. That ain't the issue. We just need people, right? So we got to get creative in how we galvanate, right? And it don't matter what nationality on this planet. Like I say, we got potential members that, the Filipino, the Empress, she's from Vietnam. We got a couple El Salvadorians that's going to end up, tapping in pretty soon. So it's a diversity of what we're doing too, man. Remember, all roads lead back to us. So anybody can help our upliftment movement, so it's just back to being competent on history and law to explain the chain of events, how any nationality in front of you is connected to us. You can just show instantly. You can just go into a measure to let them know how their ancestors is connected and how they can be down with what we'll be doing. We gotta just be savvy until we get to a nice amount of pool, a nice amount of people that's on the same page, and we go to another level. You know what I mean? And hopefully Moore's doing the same thing in other territories, and then we all come together, right? And unite our forces. So let me look at the chat. I think somebody said something in the chat. Any other thoughts on that? Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. He got the China demonstration.
Placed in the chat is the oral statements. So over 250 oral statements. If someone have time to download it, collect the information off what I've sent, and read the oral statements for yourself and see exactly what the statements say. And with that, I give the floor.
It's in the chat.
It's in the chat. Yeah. Put it in the chat.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and I wanted to do a quick demonstration too, just packaging thing that we can deliver to the people as far as this Jew situation. This is a quick thing I always do. When were the Moors expelled from Spain? 1492. All right.
Mm-hmm.
When were the Sephardic Jews expelled from Europe? The Spanish Jews expelled in 1492. So the Moors are the Jews. I can see how simple. I like to package this stuff like that, right? And then it forces people to go study and not be
because they be like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I learned it this way.
And I think that's what I'm speaking of. Like the people that will be confrontational to it, or like in disbelief, as far as even the history, the real history, And
when you bring it to them like that, they're gonna look at you a little different. Like, man, this dude, oh yeah, And remember, you got the fez on. Remember, you got the turban on too. As you telling them this info, it's like, oh yeah,
Right.
it's different. It's different right
You look
here.
like
He
a
just-
wizard.
You're with
It's different.
I got a double cross on you.
Knowledge, man.
Yeah.
What is Sephardic
Wasn't
mean?
that
They
simple?
gonna listen. They gonna listen.
Wisdom?
Sephardic?
Yeah, you said wisdom. I was looking at.
Oh no, I didn't say. No, I was just saying. Was that? Oh no, I said it wasn't that simple. Like
Oh, yes, it
a
was.
simple example that a layman's right. When were the Moors
Boom,
expelled? 1492.
1492. Boom.
When was the
1492.
Jews
Boom.
expelled? 1492.
14. Even in that document, what is that? The Christian Black Codes. It was talking about. I think the first one was talking about no Jews allowed or something like that. I don't know it. I don't know it verbatim.
So the Jews from the colonies,
Yeah, something. Yeah.
from the Christian
Remember
Black
that
Code,
Q?
that's like the very first one, or
Mhm.
or the second one.
Yeah, the
look,
first or
look,
the
yeah,
second.
look. That's the
Yeah,
first
first
decree.
one.
Decrees
Yep.
the expulsion of the Jews from the colony. So keep the Moors away from the Negroes in Louisiana, because the Moors are gonna wake the Negroes up that they got a culture and they're gonna rebel
Right.
and do a revolution.
Louisiana's codes noir.
Right.
Dang.
Sorry for laughing, but I just thought that's so funny. Just be like, stop! Don't let them get anybody who knows.
Yeah,
And we can't
he's a
stop
light
them.
bearer,
Like
man. They
that's so
spread.
crazy.
Yeah,
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 now
but
you know why the Salem witch burnings and all that.
They be trying to get rid of the people who know before it reaches a
What they
critical mass.
do. That's what they do. They kill the prophet, Malcolm X. They kill everybody, dude. And they try to wash their hands clean. We didn't do it. The devil did it.
but like the brother just said, so we got the concept of the Jews. This is these are ways I like to just roll it out for him, right? You know, like everything we just said was on point. We showed 3 demonstrations dealing with the Jews, referencing, and a lot of these things we're cross-referencing. We're building a case. We're compiling information for people, putting correlations together, right? We just laid the foundation of the Moors as the Jews, and then in the Christian Black codes, which are rules and regulations for Black, Negro, colors, etc., they saying keep the Moors away from the Negroes, keep the people that are woke away from the people that are asleep.
Right.
And then this 1724, when you examine the Sundry Free Moors Act, right? That's
Right.
55 years later or something, right? Whatever. What is being said on the record in South Carolina? They're distinguishing themselves from Blacks, Negroes, or being adjudicated by Christian Black codes or the Negro law or Jim Crow. You're saying we're not subject to that. We know our nationality. We got national standards. That's what they were saying. We got national standards. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? I think that was it for that demonstration. That's what I wanted to highlight. Any other thoughts on that? Before I can continue and reading a little bit from where we left off of Moorish paradigm and close out in the chapter in the Quran to close out. Any other thoughts on any level? Any thoughts on any level at all?
How will I know when I'm ready to go in there to City Hall and just question them?
You won't have fear.
Okay, because right now I'm kind of scared. I'm not gonna lie.
Don't be. All right, well, because it's your self-doubt that's not,
because I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know how to phrase it to official where I feel comfortable that I won't get catch 22 or like caught in a...
go get subjects. Does that make sense? Like,
wait, say that
start
again.
ask people questions on what you're trying, how you would ask whatever you're looking for, right? Start asking that people and see the reaction and work your way to it. It's what then that way, one, you're teaching them and you're teaching yourself.
Okay.
Conversation.
So take it gradually and slow. So I don't mess up.
So it depends on you. When you're comfortable enough, you would go in there and stand on your own square. You have to do it by yourself.
Yes. I want to get to that level.
And if you're scared to get locked up, then don't do it. And you're not ready.
Okay.
Okay, because it's just there you go.
I got it. Got it.
Any other thoughts, statements, comments? All right, Nanel going to continue from where we left off last week with Noah's paradigm.
Where?
Another.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Right here.
Mm.
When the zodiac, as we know it, took its present form. Okay, that's good. In other words, at the time when the zodiac took its present form, the vernal equinox was when the sun was in front of the constellation called Aries. Equinox means that there was an equal number of daylight and night hours. Many of you may have heard the saying that this is the age of Aquarius, but few really understand what this means. Let us look into what is meant by these various ages, such as the age of Aquarius. The vernal equinox does not always stay the same because of the 23.5-degree tilt of the Earth's axis. The vernal equinox slides back one sign every 2,160 years. This 2,160-year period is what is known as an age. The 2,160-year period when the vernal equinox was in the sign of Aries, that age was called the Age of Aries. It says in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, page 6, we measure time by cycle ages, indicate that every age redeem a milestone in the journey of the race. An age had passed, the gate unto another flies open at the age touch of time. This is the preparation age of soul, the kingdom of, how do you say that word? Emmanuel, of God, Allah, and man. Okay, so page 6 of 1886, the year Noble Drew Ali was born, was right on the cusp boundaries between the 12 signs, marking the transition from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. Let me read this part. You want to look at that? So we have the age of Aquarius. The dates is from 1887 to 4047. Is that, on what time is that? Is that
4047.
Okay. And the age of Pisces is 273 BC to 1886. The age of Aries, I think I read that backwards, 2433 BC to 272 BC, and then Taurus.
Sort of all like this from Taurus to
Taurus to Aquarius.
Yeah.
And upwards. Okay. The age of Aquarius began approximately 1886. The 2,160-year period before that, beginning in 273 BC, was the age of Pisces. 2,160 years before that, the age of Aries began, whose time was between 2,433 BC and 273 BC. The age of Taurus was between 4,593 BC and 2,433 BC. Since the present zodiac and month theme was the vernal equinox in the sign of Aries, we can say that the present zodiac must have originated sometime between 2,433 BC and there's something missing. But the vernal equinox took place while the sun was in the constellation of Aries. During the age of Aries, the how do you say that word? What was that?
cataclysm.
Cataclysm. Yeah, let's see. These cataclysms of 1500 BC took place. It was most likely after these cataclysms that the modern zodiac wheel took shape, and is most likely a readjustment of an even older zodiac, readjusted due to the cataclysms of 1500 BC. The transition from the age of Aries, the ram, to Taurus, the bull, is symbolized in the Bible where Moses says that he represented, I am that I am. I am is the key words of the sign of Aries. See previous page. Also, the golden calf that Moses was upset about symbolized the age of Taurus, the abyss bull of Egypt, which they were symbolically leaving behind in the Exodus. The sacred symbol of the kings and the ancient empires was the bull. This is the period, so the age of Taurus, when kingship and the rule of men first became global, patriarchal age. The transition from Aries, where is it? The transition from Aries, the ram, to the Pisces, the fish, is symbolized by Jesus and the miracle involving the fish and the loaves of bread. Fish symbolize the age of Pisces, the fish, and the bread is taken from the sign of Virgo, which is the opposite sign of Pisces. The sign of Virgo is symbolized by a virgin holding wheat in her hand, hence the loaves of bread. The Virgin Mary also symbolized Virgo, the Virgin. By the way, if a child is conceived on December 25th, it will be born 9 months later in the sign of the Virgin, Virgo, hence the so-called virgin birth.
Okay. So when we're talking to people about the Bible, you know, they might see you and like, oh, you know, I'm Christian. I'm not with the whatever they think we're doing. It's against the Christians. You want to bring them the book that they're familiar with. We have a couple of things that we can highlight for them. Oh, and everybody in this chat highly recommended that you get a metaphysical Bible dictionary. A lot of these things, a lot of terms, names, concepts, locations is really symbolic. So we're dealing with right now, right? Dealing with Moses. We're dealing with the calf, the most famous story dealing with the golden calf. We're talking about Taurus, right? Now we know the demonstration about the Virgin Mary or the virgin birth, right? What that comes from, right? You can 9 months later, from December 25th, is what? Virgo. Virgo, one of the names of Virgo is what? The Virgin, the infant. There's a couple other I can't think of right now. So,
isn't it? Oh yeah, that's like maiden too. The maiden, like
maiden.
Diana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
Huntress.
Right. So doesn't it take a different shape as far as having Bible lessons with the people in a different way? Having Bible study. You want to have Bible study with the people like this. This is just
Yes,
Bible
sir.
study, right?
You're right.
All right.
The secret and hidden key to the Bible is the zodiac wheel. The 12 tribes of Israel are the 12 signs of the zodiac. Israel means Is Isis, which is the moon. Ra is sun. El is star. Thus, Israel means symbolically the sun, moon, and as above, so below.
All right. So pretty straightforward.
You read this part right here?
That's what's on you right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read this little part. So first, we may take Israel as perhaps the most apt and comprehensive in its etymology. This word is essentially astrological, compounded of the Egyptian Ra, sun, defined as Osiris, and the Arabic El, star, whence Osiris El, Israel, meaning a belt or land of the heaven. 12 tribes of which compare to the number of constellations that environ the ecliptic and through which the sun makes this annual circuit. And the support of Israel as the land of the sun and the stars may be cited. Exodus, what is that? 30.
That's 34.
34. 34. Thrice in the year shall all thy males appear before Adonis, sun, the eternal, the God of.
All right. So now we can take people to the Bible and show them the cosmological So somebody got a lot of noise in the background. I'm not sure.
I would say go up and see if there's some speaker going on. There you go.
All right. So we can go to the Bible and the Quran, which we will see later. And it's going to tell you the origin of religion as far as like we've been saying the last couple of weeks, becoming one with the heavens, nature's law, etc. Here's an example.
Jesus and the 12 disciples symbolize the sun and the 12 zodiac signs. The 4 fixed signs symbolize the 4 gospels and their alleged writers, as well as the 4 beasts in the book of Revelations. Jesus' life, in fact, is no more than the solar cycle, the crucifixion of plant and animal life in fall and winter, its resurrection in the spring, Easter, and the ascent into the heavens, summer. The name Holy in Holy Bible comes from the word Helios, meaning sun, and Biblio, means book. Thus, the Holy Bible translates into the Sun Book.
I like that. The crucifixion of plant and animal life in the fall, and the resurrection in the spring. When you say it like that, you're looking at crucifixion and resurrection different, right?
Just talking about the seasons.
It's the seasons.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Back to nature.
It's a solar cycle. That's why it's sun. But okay, yeah, I like that. I like this Bible study.
Yo, yeah, it's clicking. We have a Bible study. That's what we doing. That's what we doing right now.
So then why he died when he's 33? Is that when the sun set? Is it at 33 degrees?
Go. We're talking about now you're starting to see. You see how it's starting to your
It's
mind starting to
clicking.
work. It's
That
clicking.
was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one.
It's clicking. So now look, this is the Quran. This is the Quran with the Q. Right? Talking about what's it talking about? Zodiac signs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. In the Holy Quran, there's a surah called Burj. This is the actual right here. Right here. Or the zodiac signs. So that's the thing we need to highlight, because most of the time, I don't care if it's Christian, Muslim circles, they don't know their own holy book like that. Upon talking about it and discussing it, you're going to discover that they ain't really reading a book like that. They might know a couple verses and they go to church and whatever the case may be, but they're not really in it like that.
They're not really
So,
studying.
yeah. So when you highlight things like that in their own stuff, it's a good start. It's a place where they feel comfortable at, and you're gonna expose some things that they didn't know. So we're talking about religion. We're talking about knowing the stars, knowing yourself, how the heavens is related to the human experience physically, to become one with that. And so these are examples that we can give in their own books, talking about the stars, right? Talking about zodiac. It's not in there for by mistake, So I'm gonna continue.
Right. Here's an appeal to the 3 mystic symbols, one of which is the glorious sky with the broad belt of the constellations marking the 12 signs of the zodiac. In the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America on page 5, it says, "Man will regain his lost estate, his heritage, but must do it in a conflict, the conflict that cannot be told in words. Yeah, he must suffer trials and temptations manifold, but let him know that the cherubim and the seraphim that rule the stations of the sun and the spirit of the mighty Allah, who rule the solar stars, are his protectors and his guide, and they will lead to victory."
The solar stars. are his protectors and his guide. The stars are your guide to knowing yourself. That's what a chart is. You get your chart done. You beginning to chart where your the heavens are at. How the heavens, the arrangement of the heavens for you particularly, you want to learn the arrangement. Because based on the arrangement, it's a certain degree of things which cause the things to be in harmony or not in harmony. But
Now,
you need to,
is that
yeah.
in the Quran with the Q, or is this in the Holy Quran, the Circle 7 Quran?
This last statement was a circle 7 right here.
Circle 7. Okay, I was making sure.
The first one was the Quran with the Q. Yeah. So see how we because all holy books is rooted in truth, no matter how the fluff or how decorated it got over the years, or people forgot the principles.
Yeah.
Still, you know, it's like etymology. It don't matter. You can it's a measuring stick that we can always take people down. Any literary, dealing with grammar and things like that. Okay. Yeah.
The stations of the sun are the 12 signs of the zodiac. Truly, knowledge and the application of the signs of the zodiac will lead us to victory. In a book called The Great Seal by Paul Foster Case, he says, the conceptions behind the pattern of the government adopted in 1776 are expounded in the lectures, dramatized in the rituals, and summarized in the symbols of Freemasonry. Remember, as discussed in the previous issue, that Freemasonry is a legacy of Moors passed to the Europeans and formed into speculative Freemasonry by Sir Francis Bacon. Speculative Masonry is more science based on mathematics and the zodiac and geometry. On page 6 and 7, Case says, Paul Revere began his famous ride after an adjourned meeting of a Masonic lodge. When Benjamin Franklin helped draft the Declaration of Independence, he was past Grand Master of the Pennsylvania Freemasons. George Washington was a Mason, and so were the 12 of his generals. Again, you'll notice that George Washington was symbolically the sun, and his 12 generals symbolize the 12 signs of the zodiac. 1 plus 12 equals 13. The number 13 has always symbolized the sun and the 12 zodiacs. Case says on page 9, throughout the history of the United States, the number 13 has been prominent. The spirit of 76, 7 plus 6 equals 13. July the 4th has 13 letters. 13 ships made up the first Navy of the United States and the 13 colonies. On the back of the dollar bill, you have 13 red and white stripes in the shield, 13 arrows, 13 stars in the crest, 13 berries and 13 leaves in the eagle's right claw, etc. The horoscope of the Declaration of Independence, set up for the hour at which that document was signed on July 4th, 1776, shows the sun in 13 degrees of the sign of Cancer and makes the ascendant 13 degrees in the sign of Scorpio, which sign is represented by the number 13 in the ancient Rosicrucian and Masonic tarot keys.
So every origin, you're talking about July 4th, you're talking about the color scheme of the Star Spangled Banner, all of it has an origin. There's nothing just arbitrarily just always on white, red, white, and blue. It's an origin to everything, right?
Okay. Nothing happens here in America by coincidence. Everything is secretly based on Moorish science, also referred to as Freemasonry. Also, if you look very closely at the web in the background of the dollar bill, you'll notice that the web is actually the zodiac wheel divided into the 12 houses of the zodiac. The zodiac is the key to the federal government. Right, here's the Gematria letter code of the Kabbalah. On page 11 of the Great Seal, Case goes on to say, based upon this fact that in Hebrew and Greek every word is a number, is a method of the biblical interpretation called gematria, a term derived probably from the Greek geometria, whence comes to the English noun geometry. Commentators on the Old Testament used gematria long before the Christian era. Their precedent was followed by the Kabbalists and the Rosicrucians, who did so much to influence Freemasonry. Gematria is a number, letter code used by the Kabbalists. Notice the zodiac and planetary correspondences in the code. In the code. Here. Remember, earlier we remarked that the priesthood of Judeo-Christian Islamic tradition hit the science of the zodiac and gave the masses religious mystery and its place. They themselves were well versed in the science of the zodiac and communicated with one another in code. Kabbalah is a secret esoteric side of Judaism. Just like Christianity has its Gnostics and Masons, and Islam is its Sufis and Ismaili orders. We will go deeper into Kabbalah, Masonry, and Sufism in later issues.
All right. So how we were talking about the degrees, these are examples of degrees in contemporary religions. All right. So adept Christianity, the Gnostic, or the one that knows knowledge. The religious Muslims graduate to the Sufi, right? Knowing that the kingdom of heaven is within. It's back to self-mastery now, distinguished from maybe Shiite or Sunni, etc., right? Going to a higher degree of orders, Sufism. And actually, the Sufi just means, the original conception of Sufi is the woolly-haired one as well, so the ancient mystery systems, the ancient mystics, the Moors, right?
And I would like to add, I believe I heard it in one of the other meetings as far as when you guys were talking about, I guess what is the Moors religion, and it's like it seems like you're saying right here is like, oneself. We still take from all of them, but it's all going into all of those religions which are divided. Is still, if you really get to the root of them, it's still talking about yourself. So it's like to study yourself, and like you said, like, or saying nature and everything, and we're one with nature as well. So
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is
That's all.
And now
Different way to explain it, I would say, but yeah, that was just my statement.
There you go. That's the way. That's what it's about. You have a clarity, grounded on the situation. Now you can explain it.
Oh man.
Right. As mentioned in the previous issue, when Benjamin Banneker designed Washington, D.C., the science of the zodiac was incorporated into every aspect of its design. In the patterns made by the streets can be found the symbols for all the planets and signs of the zodiac. Also, there are streets that line up with the sun during the vernal equinox and autumnal equinox and summer solstice, as well as winter solstice. Oh, yeah. Okay. It is designed to be the universal apprentice hall of the science of government, also referred to as the North Gate, as in the North Star, Polaris. The science of the 12 signs of the zodiac and the 12 combinations of life that it represents is also the basis of the clock, the standard used to measure time. Okay. Let me see. Dividing the circle into 12 equal parts called hours. It is also the basis of the standard of measurement of space called the rule or ruler, which is divided into 12 equal parts called inches. Thus, the 12 combinations of the zodiac is also the foundation of measurement of time and space. What a remarkably ingenious and consistent gift of the ancient Moors. Chaldean and Chronos have given the world with the zodiac wheel. In the following issues, we will look at how the Moorish theoretical science and the science of the zodiac is applied to the government and other areas of life. Now it is time for a Moorish history segment.
All right, so we're still talking about religion. You see how it's tied in to even the time clock. The time clock, keeping time, stems from Moorish culture. We're talking about degrees, the concept of a ruler, inches, feet, yards, meters, all derive from angles, knowing distance, charting the stars, navigating the sea. You got same thing. Got to chart the stars and navigate the sea. All this is part of religion. What's the religion of the Moors? Comprehending these things.
Right.
Nature's understanding how nature works. Right.
Right. Right.
I think we read this before. There's another aspect. I'm just, oh yeah, we got to get this one. We got to get this in. All right,
So yeah, like some good information.
we got to get this in again.
Okay. In this issue's Moorish history segment, we will look at the wide array of bits and pieces of Moorish history that we strive to gradually weave into a coherent whole. This is a very hard undertaking, an undertaking where we are bound to make some mistakes due to the degree to which history has been hidden, suppressed, destroyed, and distorted. I ask that in any area where we may make a mistake to please write me and to bring it to my attention. I do not claim that my historical research is infallible, and I will make public any mistakes that I realize or that has been brought to my attention. That being said, here's some information I found in my researches or was sent to me by our informal information network that is truly international in scope. The fez. Notice the crown on Noble Drew Ali's head. It is called the fez. The fez is the national headdress of the Moors and represents the heights of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Whenever you see the fez worn, it shows the person wearing it is either a Moor or that they are a student or someone knowledgeable in Moorish science, history, and civilization.
All right, so somebody asks you, what's that fez? What is that? I like this answer right now. It symbolizes you either a Moor or that you are a student or someone knowledgeable in Moorish science, history, and civilization. So, what's the theme? Competency on history and law, competent. So you can explain that if you right. So, or you're a student. If you're not as sharp, you're at least taking notes. You know, repetition. You sincere. You're getting the info as a student, right? Either or. I love it.
Yeah.
That was an excellent couple sentences right there. You got it.
Mm-hmm. This is a picture of Dost Muhammad Ali. He was a Moor and had a very strong influence on Marcus Garvey. Noble Drew Ali referred to Marcus Garvey as a sort of John the Baptist who came before him in order to prepare the way. Marcus Garvey traveled extensively throughout the dominions of Mexim, the Americas, and the Caribbean and Africa. Here you see a picture of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad with the fez on, clearly showing the influence which Noble Drew Ali and the Moors had on him. As a matter of fact, in the Supreme Wisdom, Volume 2, page 84, Mahon Elijah Muhammad says, I've always had a very high opinion of both the late Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey, and admired their courage in helping our people and appreciated their work. Both of these men were fine Muslims. The followers of Noble Drew Ali and Marcus Garvey should now follow me and cooperate with us in our work because we are only trying to finish up what those before us had started.
All right, now let's stop here and marinate on this. So, any brothers or sisters you come across from the Nation of Islam, fruits of Islam, whether it be Farrakhan, Wallace Muhammad, any sect of the Nation of Islam, you would show them this. You would show them this picture, so they can see the origin. And then you start. It's all about the timeline. When was the Nation of Islam established? 1930s. When was Noble Drew Ali on the scene? When was the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple of America, Canaanite Temple? When were these things erected? From 1912 to 1928. After the transition of Noble Drew Ali, here comes this group. Also, it's a group picture that I put on a lot of the merch. It's a group picture of a national convention, and it'll show a picture of when there's a guy right here who's named Elijah Poole Bay. He was actually a student and member of he was a Moor. It was a person named David Ford L. He was a sheik at a Detroit temple. In this, when you fast forward, he became what's his name? Who's the messenger? I forgot. I got a brain fart. This is the messenger, but it's another. He's like a pale guy.
As far as in Islam or
no, as far as in the Nation of Islam circles.
Muhammad?
Was it Farad Muhammad?
Yeah, Farad Muhammad. Yeah.
Oh.
So Ford L became Farad Muhammad in the Nation of Islam organization. Farad Muhammad became like who basically he's Noble Drew Ali in the Nation of Islam circles, and then Elijah Muhammad would be called the messenger, and he would be like I mean, but what you want to show to people in the Nation of Islam is the origin. You want to show a picture like this picture. He has a fez on. He has a Moorish fez. Of course, he marked it up. But in the beginning stages of the Nation of Islam's conception, they had fezzes up until like 1936, 1938. They were wearing fezzes with tassels and stuff like that. And then as you keep moving forward, it slowly got reduced. Now it's no fez. Now, and then they don't talk about nationality in no shape, form, or fashion.
At all.
But you still want to show people, because this is this new era of time. Just because it's a person that's part of the Nation of Islam, you can show some of them this and they'll be like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, it's not always got to be combative.
Yeah.
We want to just show people once again where they're comfortable at, the people that they know. We're going to show them how, it used to be this before it became this, and just show them the timeline. Just let them, and the ships will fall. Ships will fall where they're gonna fall. That's all you really can do. But at least we
More
know.
along connection.
Yeah. The whole goal is to unite. We don't want to. We're not using this information just to be like, your leaders is supposed to be doing this, and now we'll talk like that amongst each other. We'll talk like that amongst each other because it's frustrating because the sellout is real. But we got to be more diplomatic when we're in public. We're not trying to bash nobody. It's all love and unity when we're speaking, and being an ambassador and diplomacy. So
Mm-hmm. Do you think that Elijah Muhammad did he sell out? Did he sell out before Farrakhan? Because after Farrakhan took over, now everything we know he sold out. But do you think because Elijah Muhammad started putting the signs on his pad do you think he was an influence to also encouraging them to change?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, because he was Elijah Poole Bay, and then he don't even. Now it's the Nation of Islam, so we went from knowing about nationality to calling a religious creed over nationality. So he basically saying Islam is a nationality, because when you say the nation of Islam, that's pretty much what you're saying. You're saying a religious creed is a nationality.
You start dumbing them down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus talking about nationality itself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're Moors, like, you know, keep it simple. But yeah, to answer the question, he was him and
The first one to start churning got
Yeah.
sold out. Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. And
Do you think it's money that made them, or like, you know, what do you finances or something, or you know, just
Coercion? Maybe coercion. I was thinking that.
yeah,
Or game stalking.
Mhm.
Power. You talking about power and
influence. That influence is major.
Because we only get a glimpse of Noble Drew Ali. We're not getting the full stuff that's in the FBI vaults and all this stuff. Like, we're just getting stuff we got. But he had it on lock. He had it on lock out there, man. Like, he at Cuba. He's in Cuba. The president of Cuba gave him that sombrero, that most famous sombrero where he got the Star Spangled Banner and the Moorish flag.
Yeah.
That sombrero was given to him by the president of Cuba because he was attending an international meeting because he was an ambassador for the Moors in North America. Talking about his Moors that woke up over here. So we got thousands of them. We got mayors in office. We woke.
Wow.
This, you know what I'm saying? He knows about this. Elijah Poole Bey was around during the time. He was part of the Moorish Science Temple. So to go from an international level and just reduce it down to a domestic level, just to be powerful, because he looked at anybody in the Nation of Islam circles, they're looking at Elijah Muhammad as like Jesus, pretty much. Like how the Christians look at Jesus, you know what I mean? So he didn't want to give up that power. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to. Anybody that's compromised in this, the bottom line is they took the bribe. That's the bottom. You know.
But that's weak, because at the end of the day, he's still dead, and he said it back.
True, I feel like you feel, but
yeah,
that's
you still die. Even if you take the power, you still die, and the people that did the work before you took a shit on it. I don't like that.
All for greed and power, you know.
Because even if, like, you know, you get to the highest level and you do, God forbid, the worst comes to worst, you've done your work. You've done what needs to be done. Like, and it could go on without you. You've made your mark. But with people like this, they take their mark and just smear it all over the paper. So how do we avoid those? Or how do you vet to get people that could be like that out?
I think the people do that themselves, the ones that, you know, hear the information and, you know.
But he got up to a high level and he was, you feel me, a sellout.
But see, all the people that was close to the prophet, when you start investigating, they like he had a driver, his driver, basically his chauffeur, and his interpreter at the meeting in Cuba was somebody named Kirkland Bey. After Noble Drew Ali got assassinated, he's calling himself reincarnated Noble Drew Ali, and a lot of the principles I was talking about with the divine warning. Now all of a sudden it's a schism of Moors saying, "Oh, we U.S. citizens." When the prophet said this, like that's why I get that example. Like when the prophet saying that this said government, he talking about you need to go along with the United States. Is talking about we're not against the United States. Like it's Moors that come with that. Like he talking about we, you know.
Yes.
But that's not what he's talking about. That's why, you know. So I guess we got to keep putting the info out for people that's waking up to this information to have something to compare to. Because if you go to like the brother said in Alabama, it might be a more Science Temple over there, but they might be on dogma. They might not be talking about the things we're talking about, international law and political status. The Grand Sheiks
that complicates the issue though, because if he gives the prophet warning and he's like, here is what you need to do, people gonna take it at their level of interpretation, and you need somebody like him to officially delegate who needs to know what. to make the operation work.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's tough. That's tough. Thank you for sharing
I
that.
feel like the like what just Bobby said, you got to keep putting it out for people to decipher it, because if it's just one form of it out, they just gonna go with that, or and really not even have the other side. It's unfortunately in this world there's a lot more, I guess, of the negative than the positive, and or good than the bad, but just the good got to keep standing their ground, and standing on their square, like we talking about, and learning.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But at least that's all we can do is put it out there, and hopefully, people unite and keep it together. But like I said, I'm optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But it's just
I
damn.
think
That's
maybe
we could have
we're
been
trying
so because if he imagine yeah. But we got it.
That's good though. At least how things went down, so we can't. You won't repeat the history. You won't repeat the same. You can let people know how stuff went down, and yeah, man, everything happened for a reason, man. To learn from it. To learn from it.
Right.
Any other statements, comments before we go into this chapter of the Quran and close out?
No. I just had a question as far as where is this being read from, so I could read it. I would like to read it again, and just kind of go over it.
Right, the Quran, Circle 7.
Just all of, like, as far as the Zodiac, what we read and everything.
Oh, that was
bookmark it.
That was called the Moorish Paradigm Book 3.
The Moorish Paradigm Book 3.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The Moorish Paradigm Book 3.
Yeah. You can actually order the actual book. It's like, I don't know, Amazon and shit, whatever. But yeah, that's the reference on that.
Okay.
There's no like when they drop a book link, just get it right away so you can go check it out.
The Moorish. All right. Appreciate that. Moorish Paradigm Book 3. Moorish Paradigm. Got it.
Back up on this next week. I don't know. That's a whole nother measure right here. Okay. So I did want to share this before I read before I get into before we close out and read the Quran and stuff. It was something else I wanted to highlight. The Black Codes of 1705 Act. Act 49. So these are the Virginia slave codes. In that act, it's talking about all servants imported and brought into the country by sea or land who are not Christians in their native country, except Turks and Moors in amity. When you say amity, that just treaty, a piece of friendship. That's just another way of saying it was some type of treaty with Her Majesty and others. The reason I'm highlighting that because this is on the same level of the Christian Black Code. This is basically another Christian Black Code, another version of it.
Just in another municipality?
Yeah, one's Virginia. Yeah, one was called the Christian Black Code of 1725 or something.
From Louisiana.
From Louisiana. Yeah, that was from Louisiana. This one's in
Okay.
Virginia. This was Black Codes for Virginia in 1705. So this one actually was earlier. So one of the Black Codes talks about the Jews, right? Get the Moors away from them, right? And this one is talking about how Moors and Turks are exempt from any type of slave. They're not slaves. They're on a different status.
Wow. This one in Virginia,
Yeah.
they slipped up, huh?
It's in the Library of Congress. You can get it. This is the Library of Congress documents.
Wow.
So
Official
that's
award.
two documents, right? That, and once again, we need to know this stuff so we can talk about this to the people. Very sound-minded. There's information. There's nothing.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
competent.
I had a question in regards to the Jews. How would I know that we're saying that we're the true Jews, how would you decipher or distinguish the Jews that we are, the Jewish, you know, as far as who are they, you know, or where they come from?
Ashkenazi, the Ashkenazi today it'd be Ashkenazi distinguished from the Sephardic. The Sephardic Jews would be the Sephardic Jews would be the Moors. The Moorish Jewry. Yeah.
Can you spell that real quick? Or can you put that in the chat? I don't even, Ashkenazi. Sound like Ashkenazi. Okay, I've never heard that.
No, I'm reading.
And then on the back end of that word, you got Nazi. That's what, you know.
That's what I was just kind of even like thinking, like, man, that's wild. So with that whole, is that a fabrication? That whole, or maybe not a fabrication. I don't want to. A lot of people died and things, but is that real, or like, you know, that part of that history, like the Nazis and the Jews and the Holocaust and.
Oh no, it's a different it's real, but a different context. So
to the story, yeah.
And how do you spell the Sephardic Jews?
Sephardic. I just had it. Let me see. Here we go.
Ashkenazi.
Nazi. Just a quick comment on that. What I did some research on Sephardic or Sephra, it deals with like serpent. And then serpent is one of the oldest religions on the planet. Something dealing with like serpent knowledge. Even the like olden Cambodian temple, they worship the Nagas. And even in different translation, it's like serpent or Slytherin. Even the Anunnaki, their Sephiroth actually refers to like seraphim, which is serpents. Even then, like angelic I don't know, like what does that mean? Why is there so much snake worship on this planet?
No, it's just symbolic for ascension and Kundalini.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That goes back to knowing yourself to be able to flow and let the Kundalini freely flow.
Yeah.
Because if you get blocked in your chakras. Yeah, when you're
sending it down. Okay.
No, you want to free flow up to the crown chakra.
To the crown.
Mm-hmm. But then when you have blockages, that's why you want to know yourself, so that way you can clear yourself up for that free flow. That's going back to studying yourself and understanding nature.
Yep. The serpent. Just like on the front of the medical buildings, they still got the two serpents.
The caduceus.
Yeah.
Even Ptah, he holds a staff, and it's supposed to be like a representation of like serpentine wisdom. And he has the little serpent on his front of his eye, where his third eye would be. So there's more questions, but we're gonna say that for another day. This is more history.
Yeah, that's really interesting. It's very, very interesting.
But we trending. The wheels is turning now. That's good, you know.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the holy the Circle 7 Holy Quran, divinely prepared by Noble Jew Ali. We're dealing with chapter 26. Holy instructions of unity. The gifts of the understanding are the treasures of Allah, and he appointed to every one his portion, and what measure seemeth good unto himself. Hath he endowed thee with wisdom? Hath he enlightened thy mind with knowledge or truth? Communicate it to the ignorant, right? Wake up the ignorant. If you got the truth, if you got the light, spread it. Spread that. And you might could package it in a way where somebody can get it. They might not have heard it the way that you made, right? Because everybody was bestowed with gifts, right? To communicate, to resonate, whatever the case may be. Everybody got their gifts. So if we got the gifts, we use them. That's what we're here for, to use our gifts to unite humanity in our own way, the best we can, right? So communicate it to the ignorant for their instruction. Communicate it to the wise for thy own improvement. So even if somebody wise, it don't stop. We always are going to be a student, right? Share the jewels. Keep dropping jewels. Got to keep dropping them. True wisdom is less presuming than folly. The wise man doubteth often and changeth his mind. The fool is obstinate and doubteth not. He knoweth all things, but his own ignorance. You know, right? The fool know everything, but the fact that he ignorant, right? Right? Got to stay humble. You got to stay learning, right?
Right.
The pride of emptiness is an abomination, and to talk much is the foolishness of folly. Nevertheless, it is the part of wisdom to hear with patience their impertinence and to pity their absurdity. Right. So we're talking about patience. When people are speaking, you got to listen. You got to be attentive. When you're studying, you need to be attentive. You need to analyze, right? That means you need to have patience. You can't always be so quick to talk. And nobody's perfect at this, you know. But this is the thing we want to strive to do. Remember, we're scientists. Scientists are dealing with observation, data, facts, merit, patterns of character that we're observing from people. And no matter what they're saying, what's the pattern? What have you been doing the last X amount of time? You saying this, but what are you doing? Right? It's a measuring stick. Yet be not puffed up in thy own conceit, neither boast of superior understanding. The clearest human knowledge is but blindness and folly. Right? Back to the humility. The wise man filleth his imperfections and is humbled. He laboreth in vain for his own approbation, but the fool peepeth in the shadow stream of his own mind, and is pleased with the pebbles which he seeth at the bottom. He bringeth them up and showeth them as pearls, and with the applause of his brethren delighteth him. He boasteth of attainments in things that are of no worth, but where it is a shame to be ignorant. There he hath no understanding. Even in the path of wisdom, he toileth or worketh after folly, and shame and disappointment are the reward for his labor. But the wise man cultivates his mind with knowledge. The improvement of the arts is his delight, and their utility to the public crowneth with honor. Nevertheless, the attainment of virtue he accounteth as the highest learning, and the science of happiness is the study of his life. The study of happiness, that's like the study of peace. Right? Virtue. What are virtues? Right? What are virtues? Everybody know what virtues are?
Temperance.
I don't know how to explain it, but I think I have it.
Like love, will. These are virtues or powers. You have them.
I'd say like kind of like values, right?
There we go.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, virtue.
Morals.
Right. Thanks for virtue.
Virtues. Let me see.
Yeah, but I still spelled it wrong.
That's an A.
Virtues. Did we spell that right?
Well, they got the seven virtues. I wanted to get like a quick definition.
You have to put definition. Top.
Oh, maybe because
Did we spell it?
Yeah, there we go. I think because there you go. With no S.
Morals.
Yeah, so morals.
Values.
Moral standards.
Morals, yeah.
Excellence. Oh, I like just saying that.
Moral principles.
National standards. Back to that, right? Back to the
Yeah.
beginning.
Why? We're a virtuous nation if we have the highest moral standards. Bingo.
Right? National standards or divine standards. Virtues.
Righteousness, morality.
Morality, right? So the attainment of virtue right? Having these things is a bullet point of the highest learning. Because the highest learning is to have virtues. Once you learn that, you're gonna have peace, right? Because all your dealings with people are gonna be on that measure. Communities are gonna be built on that measure. Any thoughts? Any thoughts on that? Any statements, questions? All right, so let me. Somebody got something, Justin? Justin?
No, I was saying no. I don't.
Okay, and then I think was Kabaka and Taraji. Okay, yeah. So the whole I got a text in the chat. So like I was saying earlier, Moor is short for Moroccan. You know, it's gonna be you're gonna have different Moors saying that. Okay, you got Moors saying we're not Americans, we're the Moroccans. You have that paradigm, which we're the true Americans. All right. Then you have Moors saying we're not Moroccans, we're Moors. And then that's why I said in that paradigm, I don't care if it's ancient books from non-Moor authors that are not saying they're Moors, Moroccan Empire, when they refer to the ancient empire, the Moroccan Empire. And this is before the French protectorate, this is before 1956. Matter of fact, Noble Jew Ali is saying that in his lessons that we come from ancient Moroccans. He was around before 1956. Noble Jew Ali was on the scene before there was any kingdom of Morocco even thought of, and he was saying Moroccan. So I'll say that like that for Taraji Bey and Kabaka Bey. So let me close out in prayer.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no problem. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali. Amen. Islam. And just so Thursday, when's the event for?
Oh yeah, it's right here. Mega Mixer got his tickets ready.
July 18th, Thursday. Oh, that's this Thursday. Yeah,
Thursday.
This Thursday, 4:30 to 6:30 will be in Irvine. See if we can get some funding. Also, they're gonna do a workshop to show to,
I think it's more just networking and then
proposal, how to, construct a proposal to get prepared and stuff like that, and networking. So we'll be there. FYI, whoever's interested in pulling up to that, just reach out.
it's a big networking event.
Yeah, we'll send it out. All the Moors out here. What else? Is that it?
I think that's it for right now.
Yeah, we still working on. We're still working on a proposal. That's the bottom line, so we can have that intact when we out and about and shop that around. Any last minute thoughts before we close out officially here from anybody?
No. How was the event? Was it yesterday?
Oh yeah. It was smooth, man.
The pictures look really nice, man. It looked fun. I hope y'all got on some skates too. Did y'all get on the ring?
Oh yeah.
Skating out there.
For sure, man.
I posted some stuff on Instagram.
Yeah, I seen a few of those pictures. I definitely like y'all. Y'all was deep too. Everybody had their flag.
Where Instagram at? Nobody told me that.
Oh yeah, Brian, you gotta follow, man. It's a lot of information.
I didn't even know what.
Put it in the chat.
Hold on, let me get my phone.
Man. I know a lot of people don't do the Instagram for the social media, but if you're going on there for the information, it's a lot of information on the page, man.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I put on there, so just get it for that reason. If anything else, bare minimum, man. But let me put my handle in the chat. Khalifa Society 7 is the Instagram. And I also want to start doing more like lives, like Fez and Turban Dub, maybe like 3 or 4 of us pick something we're going to talk about specifically, give it a title. So when they come on the live, they see what the subject matter at hand is. And it's a way to do outreach too, because people are going to tap into the live from anywhere. You never know. And They might like what they hear and might be around the corner. They be like, "Oh, I'm over here in Cerritos. I'm over here in Compton."
Oh, like social media?
Yeah.
I have like friends that are really good at that. So, hopefully, we could get something that works and, they could shoot pictures for you guys for free. Cause I'll tell them do it for free and you guys don't got to pay for nothing. And it'd be cool.
For sure. Yeah, man.
So we're going to see how that work out. But soon we get on the page, I'll be able to see.
Yeah, just give me a follow. And then check it out too. Just take lots of information on there, man. Lots of info. But yeah, all right. So if nobody got nothing else, we can close out. And peace and love. Peace and love, everybody. Have a beautiful rest of their weekend, man. And see everybody soon. Islam.
Peace and love.
Bye, guys.
Peace, everybody.
All right. It's fine. Peace and love.